Welcome to the Sisters of the Shire Podcast. I'm Abby, and I'm here with my co-host, Ashley. And together we are exploring J.R.R. Tolkien's amazing literary world in a way that is easy and enjoyable for everyone, whether you are a Tolkien expert or just curious about Middle-earth.
This season, we're diving into the unfinished tales. If you're already familiar with these stories, awesome! Stick around as we uncover cool details and geek out over the lore that makes these tales so special.
And if you haven't read the unfinished tales yet, no worries. I'm right there with you. But if you love the more classic Tolkien like The Lord of the Rings or The Hobbit, this is your chance to discover more of Tolkien's universe with us. Our podcast is all about engaging discussions and having fun while we explore these lesser-known stories.
So grab a comfy seat and join us on this journey through Tolkien's unfinished tales. Let's go!
Let's go!
Like how you always have the same let's go, but I cannot help but do the Mario. Let's go!
So you have recovered from the evil breath?
So far, yes. I'm so sorry. If it makes you feel any better, it hit me like I was fighting it off. I was fighting it like freaking Ecthelion. And I was taking all of the airborne and all of the zinc, and I thought I was in the clear. And then my family went, like my entire family went on a beach, like getaway,
Family
runaway
reunion.
thing. Family reunion like thing. Lots of people. And my body is like, oh, we're relaxing. And this is the time for fun. This is the time that we be sick now. So I gave it, I was like day 2. Like the first day, I'm like, I'm doing okay. The next day, dead. But
It's such a bummer with all your family there, since they all live in different places. Like, you know, you don't get to see them too much. But it's like your body was like holding like a line of like an army line, like, hold, brothers, hold. We must hold. No, we're breaking through. We can't hold longer. No.
That is literally, I think, what was happening to myself.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, I'm glad you're feeling better. I'm glad we're back to recording.
Yes. I've decided that you and I and Kylie and anyone else need to rent this house because it was both the coolest and weirdest house I have ever vacationed in. And you and I have seen some pretty weird vacation girls camp type things. So literally it was, we can't decide if it was a like mental health facility or just a regular clinic, but it had like 15 bedrooms because they basically took all of the exam rooms and turned them, just put beds in them, like single beds.
They still have paper on them from the...
Well, they still had sinks in them.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah. But like, and then they had like a ramp and everything, like a wheelchair ramp, like halfway through the hall. Each room had a theme. They each had a name.
Named
such
after
as
a different procedure in a doctor's
well, no, so there was like a clam room, there was a mermaid room, a
clam
sea urchin clam, sea urchin, forest, poppy, quilt, angel. So all these like 15 rooms.
They don't go together though. I feel like if it was like the clam room, it's next to the angel room. It's like it doesn't.
Okay, but here's what cracks me up though is that like, so every room in the house had a name, whether it was the Eternal Sunshine room or the Harmony room. Guess what our room name was?
What is the one from Gilmore Girls where they change her street name to like the official other street name, and it was like
Soars
the Dragonfly Lane or whatever, and now it's Soars and Boyle's Alley. Was it like that?
I really feel like that would have been better, honestly. Our name was the guest room. Out of all of I thought, yeah, I was pretty
You
disappointed.
should have made a tiny little Lumiere, and then it says B hour, and then put it next to the sign.
I should have.
It says it's a B hour guest room. That's lame. Why didn't you get a cool name for your room?
Right? And then, but what the cool thing was, to bring it back to Tolkien, was, of course, so they have like again, we're really trying to figure out what it was before, because they had like one like downstairs room that was like all toys and, like your typical like nursery type playroom. And then they had another room that was like a library. And then they had a room with like a big TV and like couches and stuff. But the selection of movies was, you learn a lot about a person, let's just say, by that selection of movies.
Medical videos you have to watch to pass your medical exam.
No, they had not one, but 2 copies of The Dark Crystal. They had The Labyrinth.
Whoa.
Like, they had all these like niche movies. And to bring it back to Tolkien, they had the cartoon Hobbit, the cartoon Lord of the Rings, and the cartoon Return of the King, which I don't think I've ever seen like in the flesh. Like, it was like,
I didn't even know that existed.
Right? And they had, of course, the like extended version of like Two Towers and Return of the King. No Fellowship for some reason. They're like, no, straight to Towers.
No Fellowship. No. Cartoon only.
Yeah. But I was like, I have so many questions for these people.
Did you watch the Return of the King while you were sick and recovering? Did you watch the
No, there was only one TV in the whole house. It was downstairs where all the teenagers were, and they watched Zoolander and
oh my gosh.
They were talking about watching a scary movie, and I'm like, the house isn't a scary enough movie for you?
Jeez.
Because that was the first thing that they all kept saying, like, this house is so creepy. This house is, like, haunted. Like, teenagers immediately, just globbed onto that and, yeah.
Amped it up and kept
Amped it up, yep.
Really quick story about a funny house that I stayed in one time. When I was in Colombia, I stayed in this house in the jungle. And
why does that make it better for some reason?
And the person, it was like someone's actual home, but he wasn't there. It was like a guy and his wife, I think, but they weren't there. And it was like a family friend or something. And they're like, yeah, you can stay at our house. Beautiful house, right? Like super cool vacation, like in the middle of the jungle. It's in the jungle, okay? There's like a gap under every door by like 1.5 inches. And so
snakes.
Oh my gosh. I went into the bathroom. The whole bathroom had like giant bugs. Just like giant, like the like walking stick giant bugs. Like the
no. Like, why so much room under the doors?
I know. But then I was like, this is a weird house, because it was like very like cement gray. Like everything was like very like there wasn't carpet anywhere. Everything was like tile, because it gets so humid in there. They can't have carpet. So it's like very like cold, like cement, very angular, like everything.
Yeah.
But we noticed something when we were there, because Kylie was there with me too. There was absolutely no mirrors anywhere in the house. There was no reflective surface anywhere in the house.
Well, that's for the demons,
so like,
of course.
I know. And so we were like, does a vampire live here? Like, is this a vampire's house? And so we had the joke that it was one of those vampire friends that Edward gets to come and help when they like, and that's why he was gone. Yes. That's why he wasn't there.
Yep. He had to go help Bella.
Him and his wife had to go help Bella. And Renaissance. I love when people make her name different. Ranch dressing. Anyway, so that was the fun, weird house that I've been to. So I stayed in a Colombian jungle vampire house.
I like it. I like it.
So, anyways.
Anyways, how much do you remember of last episode? It's been so long. Do you remember anything?
I remember. Okay, the one thing I do remember is that we were talking about Turin's parents.
Yes.
And that I was definitely the mom. Like, her and I are like kindred spirits of like where she feels things, but she doesn't really like express them out. And like her husband comes and talks to her about like the battles he's going to go into, because like they have a loving and healthy relationship and he doesn't keep anything from her. And he's like, this is how what he asked for her opinion and she gave good opinions because she's a smart and capable woman and she helped her husband. But she's very much like me. That's why I was like, oh, we're kindred spirits. It's like, when my husband says there's something stressful about to enter into our lives, I'm like, okay, I got to make all the scenarios of what could happen and how we can survive if this happened. We're going to do this. If this happened, then we could do this. If this happened, blah, blah, blah. And I like have to plan it all out in my head. And I feel like she's very much that way. Like, okay, well, if that doesn't work, what can you do instead? Let's do this, if you do this in your battle and that doesn't do anything productive, like we should do this, or you should try this, or how can we fix this? Or, have
all the contingency plans.
Yeah. Like, or I think she was talking about how like, we can't rely, they could be a plan B with like the Valar and the elves and everything, but like, let's not rely on them. Let's try to do this ourselves. Cause like, don't put all our eggs in one basket. Is that what they say? Like,
yeah, sure.
Like, don't think of like, that's going to be our saving grace. Like they're going to come and help us. That's probably not what's going to happen. Like very much realist of like, hey, like, we can ask, but they haven't proven very helpful in the past. Like,
yeah.
So she was talking about, like the Valar to come help with Morgoth, right? To help defeat Morgoth, or that's what they were wanting to do. But I think she was telling him like, yeah, I don't know if that's a good idea. I mean, you could try. I'm not saying you can't, but you could try. But I'm saying
I'm not sure about that. Hurin was just like, the Eldar got this. I mean, and even if they don't got it, I'm sure the Valar would be willing to help because the Valar and the Eldar are like tight. And she's like, actually, I don't think they are. They kind of got kicked out of their situation, so maybe not.
Ooh, were you not in the group chat? Oh, yeah. It's not really happening anymore.
Yeah. But what's weird is you say you relate to Morwen so much, but you are definitely on the opposite end of how you parent, because Morwen is dead inside and outside. And you are the ultimate empath and are all about being kind and, loving each other.
For me, I help my children regulate their emotions, but I do a crummy job of it for myself. Does that make sense? So I help my children be normal, stable humans, and then I don't do anything for me. Self-care, what's that? I don't know. But no, like I feel like I would be friends with her. Like I would like be friends with her and get it, but then I'd be like, Turin, here's a hug. I have a hug for you. Like,
yes,
let me give you a big hug.
I could see that. Well, let's see if you're still on Team Morwen by the end of this episode.
Oh, dang it. Don't let me hear her. Come on. You did that to me before where I was like, yeah.
Were you on Team Fëanor for a long time?
Yeah. I was like, he's a hero. God dang it.
And then I think you tried for so long to like make it work, and then like, nope, that's the final straw.
The pros and cons list kept getting really uneven, and I was like, dang it. Like there was a lot more being added to the cons and nothing really being added to the pros on that side.
Yes.
So let's hope that I'm not saying that she's like the best person in the book. I'm not saying she's like the coolest character.
She's no Luthien.
I'm just saying I get it. I get that like she wants to be prepared. She has to have that handle over things. It's how she regulates her emotions. That's how I am about myself. But she needs to freaking hug her kids way more and tell them that she is proud of them and that she loves them and that to spend more time with them instead of like some one guy with one foot to make up with both parents. Okay. So
it's only going to get worse.
Like,
it's only going to get worse.
I'm like, girl, I get it, but also step it up. Okay. Because someone's taking your place and evidently they're doing a better job than you. So but I do love their marriage relationship where he's not like, she's a woman, I'm not going to talk to her about battle. Yeah. She doesn't need anything like that. Like where he's like, I married this very capable person that I'm going to talk to and like talk about things that are affecting my life because I know that she can help me. And also he probably is like, it's probably very therapeutic because it's probably freaky to go into battle and he's like, I want to talk to my wife about this, she'll make me feel better. But honestly they both have problems. He left his kid all the time to go play with elves. Okay. What the heck.
So definitely not
they're both not getting parents of the year. They're not getting their mugs that say best dad in the world or whatever.
I'm not sure how else to go from that, but other than so basically last episode was about their contingency plan for what's going to happen in this battle. Like what's going to be after this battle. Like, okay, so if we lose, what are you going to do, Morwen? Are you going to I think you should retreat somewhere. You should run away. Make sure you find someone safe to stay with. If we win, though, it's all going to be awesome because these Eldar are going to like give us our land back, and our boy is going to be hooked up because he's the heir to this this land, and he's going to get a lot more land. So we're going to be like set up
large tracts of land.
So as far as who they're going to like, where they're going to go if the battle goes bad, they're like, should we go to Doriath? And Hurin's like, I don't like that King Fingal guy. He doesn't help anyone. And my friend Fingon says he's bad news because he doesn't help anyone. If Fingon says he's bad, then I think he's bad because we're besties. And then Morwen's like, well, what about Gondolin? I heard you went there one time. He's like, shh, don't tell anyone. But yes, I did go there. But I don't know where it is. And I pinky promise not to tell anyone. And Morwen's like, okay, cool. And then Hurin's like, what are we worried about? Everything's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. But if it does go bad, then please be prepared to do all the things necessary to save our children. Okay, bye.
It's going to be great. It's going to be fine.
So this week, we are going to see another glimpse into young Turin's life. I love all these little glimpses of... Because, like, in the Silmarillion, you're just literally like, here's a boy. His name's Turin. He's dark and angsty. Events in childhood, not important. Let's just go to the adulthood.
He just grew up sad for some reason.
Yeah.
Who knows?
We don't. Yeah.
Mystery. Anyway.
So... it is Turin's birthday. I'm assuming it's his 8th birthday. It doesn't say specifically, but based on the timeline, I think it's around 8.
Okay, so I'm mentally picturing this because I have an 8-year-old. So I can mentally think about a little. They're still little at this point, guys. 8-year-olds are still little.
They're still little. And Turin is going to get a birthday present from his father. Isn't that so nice?
Aww.
What did you give your 8-year-old for their birthday?
What did I get her for her birthday? She got...
always something to do with a unicorn.
Yeah. She got...
I don't think the same is going to be for Turin.
I think she got like a stuffy unicorn stuffy.
See, I called it. I love you, Luna. Well, Hurin did not give Turin a unicorn stuffy. And if he did, it would be a straight up black one, 100%. But instead of that, he gave Turin a knife. And not just any kind of knife. Quote, an elf-wrought knife. And the hilt and the sheath were silver and black.
The perfect thing to get an 8-year-old. Their hand-eye coordination is perfected at this point. Their frontal cortex is fully grown. They are so mature.
Yes. So I don't know how many elf-made knives were just like made and lying around, but I don't think a ton were given to men based on like what happens, like what we see in like the post-Balerian world. I would assume not many, because like the fact that they find like Glamdring and Sting, they're like, woo, relic.
Yeah. Do you think that like the knife is like really big? Because like the size difference between an elf and a man is like a little bit different, but like how Sting, they're like, that's a tiny sword, and so like, or that's a like tiny. Do you think it's like a big knife for an 8-year-old?
Well, the way that it says a knife, but in my head it's like a dagger or like a there's another word for it and I can't think of it.
Letter opener.
Sure. I mean, one that you could just keep on your belt.
Oh, yeah, like a dagger.
Like a dagger. There's another word, but I can't think of it. So, I mean, as far as elf knives go, receiving one, I would think would be a pretty rare gift. And Hurin says to Turin as he's handing it over, he says, quote, heir of the house of Hador, here is a gift for the day. But have a care, it is a bitter blade, and steel serves only those that can wield it. It will cut your hand as willingly as aught else.
You'll shoot your eye out.
Yes, 100% you'll shoot your eye out. But, you know, I was just thinking about this, though. Like, there's some absentee fathers that would be like, here's a knife, kid, have fun. Like, you know, at least he is somewhat parent-minded enough to be like, you know what? Knives are sharp. Be careful with them, okay? Like, at least he did that. You gotta give him some props.
I can see, oh my gosh, now you said absentee father. I just think of like all those like movie TV scenarios where like the dad is never there. He doesn't care anything about the kid. He shows up to the birthday party and he gives them a gift and it's like a totally age inappropriate gift.
Yes.
The mom, like Mormon's like, you got him a knife? Are you kidding me? This is why I don't let you visit, okay? Like,
yeah.
I can see that.
So, yes. So on top of a knife, he actually gives his son another present. And that present is his presence.
Oh,
Hurin
finally.
I know. Hurin picks up Turin, you know, sets him down on the table and says, quote, you overtopped me already, son of Morwen. Soon you will be as high on your own feet. And that day, many may fear your blade.
Oh, that's so cute. I don't know when he wrote this, but the ages of his own kids. Like, is he like remembering like his little 8-year-old son or?
That would be adorable. Yeah. It'd be interesting to figure out that timeline. But yeah, I could for sure see that.
Cute.
But yeah, I don't know why this scene is so easy for me to imagine. I don't know if it's this father-son dynamic, you know, has it just been portrayed a lot in movies I've watched growing up, or if Tolkien just really portrayed these characters in such a great way that I just get them, you know?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Sorry, the foul breath's not done with me yet.
It's gonna get you.
It's gonna get me. But the minute Hurin has given Turin his present and, you know, gives him that cute little, you know, moment of time, what do you think Turin does?
He goes and shows it to his stepdad.
You were so close. Pretty much. No, pretty much. Turin runs away to be alone for a minute. because he's like, I can't handle it. Like he's probably had so few. Yeah. He's probably had so few interactions with his father that this, like, just this brief one, he's just like shooketh.
Oh.
Quote,
that means they're too far between, sir.
Quote, in his heart there was a warmth like the warmth of the sun upon the cold earth that sets growth astir.
Oh, he was probably crying. I'm going to assume he started crying. Oh, gosh.
I think that's a safe bet. But you called it. Next thing he does is he goes to his old buddy Sodor and he says, quote, Labadal, it is my birthday, the birthday of the heir of the house of Hodor, and I have brought you a gift to mark the day. Here is a knife, just as such you need. It will cut anything that you wish, as fine as a hair.
So he gave his gift away?
Yep.
Oh.
So he's sitting there thinking about, what his father said, and then he also remembers something that Sodor had said, or Labadal, because remember he tried giving him things over the years, but he had always like stolen them or just kind of like nicely stolen them. And Sodor always said, give with a free hand, but give of your own. Well, like, maybe this is like the first real thing he's actually been given. And he had, like, this is mine. This is my first possession. What do I do with it? So the first things he does is, give it to Sodor. And poor Sodor, he just keeps getting put in these awkward positions. He knows that Turin is probably literally just given this knife. It's a really nice knife. He knows he shouldn't accept it. But at the same time, it's very rude to refuse a freely given gift from someone. So he accepts the gift as graciously as he knows how. And he says, quote, you come of a generous kin, Turin, son of Hurin. I have done nothing to equal your gift, and I cannot hope to do better in the days that are left to me. But what I can do, I will.
Oh, cute.
So, I know. So days go by, and eventually Hurin notices that Turin doesn't have the knife that he gave him. And he asks Turin, are you not wearing that knife because I scared you about my, talk about knives being sharp and things, or what's going on? But Turin answers him honestly and with the no shame filter that only little kids have. He says, quote, I gave the knife to Sodor the Woodwright.
Oh, he's so proud of himself.
I can totally see this though. Like, no shame. Like, yeah, I just regifted your gift. What's wrong with that? Like, doesn't even occur to him that was maybe
what you're supposed to do.
Yeah. So Mama Morwen hears this, and in her stern and blunt way, she says, quote, do you then scorn your father's gift?
Ooh. I mean, it probably wasn't cheap.
Yeah. And here's where Turin's little sensitive heart comes out once again. And he says, no, but I love Sodor, and I feel pity for him.
Oh, gosh. Angel.
Yeah. And interestingly enough, Hurin doesn't get mad. He's not hurt that Turin just gave away his gift, because Hurin also has a sensitive side. And he says, quote, all three gifts were your own to give, Turin. Love, pity, and the knife the least.
Oh.
Like, what a good way of saying
a good dad,
that, though.
That's a good dad.
So, he's a good dad. For now. And now here you will see what I mean about Sodor being kind of perceived as anything less than the amazing guy that he is. Like, we think he's amazing, but remember I told you that there's kind of this vibe around him that his wounds were kind of like not, how did I say it? Not honorable.
Which doesn't make any sense.
Right. Well, this is when Morwen the Blunt, as I will call her now, says, quote, yet I doubt if Sodor deserves them. He is self-maimed by his own want of skill, and he is slow with his tasks, for he spends much time on trifles unbidden.
Okay, girl, step down. You cannot talk about that wonderful man that way.
So Morwen just doesn't get it. She thinks that, Sodor is just a waste of space, basically. But luckily, Hurin gets it. And he says, quote, "Give him pity nonetheless. An honest hand and a true heart may hew amiss, and the harm may be harder to bear than the work of a foe."
Huh?
That's exactly what I said. Like, I read this sentence probably 50 times trying to like, oh, Hurin, and your confusing way of talking. Just speak English or Spanish or whatever. Like, no wonder Turin never understood him, because what?
It's like that scene in The Office when he's like, explain it to me like I'm 10.
Yeah.
No? Explain it to me like I'm 5.
Yes.
Just dumb it down a little bit more. Just say what you want to say in plain English, please.
Mm-hmm. But anyways, whatever he means there, it's not very clear. Maybe if you know what he means, please message us and let us know. But Morin pushes aside all this sensitive talk, and in such a strict mom move, she says, quote, "But you must wait now for another blade. Thus the gift shall be a true gift, and at your own cost."
Oh, man. I mean,
like, I'm not buying you another one. Don't come crying to me next week when you don't have a knife anymore. You want one? You go and buy it yourself, young man. Like,
you don't come crying to me when every other kid on the street has one and you don't have one. And you're like, oh, Mom, you never buy me anything cool. And I'm like, hey, you had one and you gave it away.
Yes. It would seem, though, after that, Sadar was treated more nicely from then on. In fact, he was given a great honor. He was asked to make a great chair, or I'm assuming kind of like a throne, for Hurin to sit on. So there was a change a little bit.
Oh.
But I could totally see Morwen just like talking under her breath, like he's going to take forever to finish it. Like,
do you think he wore
shut up, Morwen?
Do you think he wore that knife like really proudly? Like he
you bet he did
every day, and he like made sure that Turin saw that he was wearing it, and like, oh gosh.
Mm-hmm. So time passes when one day Turin is woken to the sound of trumpets. And he runs outside and he sees a courtyard of fully armed soldiers and horses just ready to go to war. And among these soldiers is his father. This is how Turin finds out his dad is leaving for battle. Like, no pep talk beforehand. Like, Parent of the Year award goes to someone else at this point, because
like you gotta have that. You gotta have that cliche. Dad's going off to war. You're the man of the house now, son. He didn't even get one of those.
Nope, not even one of those. But also, like, were they just gonna let him keep on sleeping? Like, what if he hadn't woken up? Like, I just have so many questions. But luckily, he comes out just in time. You know, Hurin's giving his final orders and, you know, mustering everyone up, and he is now ready to leave. And he says goodbye to Morwen. Shockingly, she doesn't shed a single tear, and the only thing she says is, quote, "I will guard what you leave in my keeping, both what is and what shall be."
Oh.
So either she knew or suspected she might be pregnant.
Oh. Huh.
And we find out later if she is, but, you know, one of those things.
Yeah.
So the only thing Hurin replies is, quote, "Farewell, Lady of Dorloman. We ride now with greater hope than ever we have known before. Let us think that at this midwinter the feast shall be merrier than all our years yet, with a fearless spring to follow after."
Man, I gotta say, not amazing parenting from either of them.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like he is trying so hard to make his marriage work. And like, he's a very much golden retriever. Like, she's very black cat kind of situation.
Yeah.
But it's just so sad that like she's just shut down. Like, she's just like shut off. And I wonder if she was like that even before her daughter died. So
yes, she was.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, then he fell in love with it in the first place, so he did that to himself. But I'm just upset he didn't say goodbye to his kid.
Oh,
that makes me sad.
Hold on, wait for it. That's coming.
Okay.
But I also have to note how adorable this optimism is, but also how sad it is.
Oh, yeah.
Knowing what's coming. He's like, we're going to have a great feast when I get back. And, we're not going to have to be afraid anymore. It's going to be great.
Oh, man.
So then, in what I'm sure will be a core memory for Turin for the rest of his life, Hurin turns to his son, puts him on his shoulder, and cries to his men, quote, "Let the heir of the house of Hodor see the light of your swords!" And the sun glittered on 50 blades as they leaped forth. And the court rang with the battle cry of the Edain of the north. Laco Kalad, Drago Morn, which means flame light, flee night.
Wow. Cool.
But at the same time,
see tiny little boy on his shoulder and like above everyone, and they're like they're like all the soldiers are just like cheering for him, and he's the little kid, and he's saying it with like his tiny little voice.
But this battle cry, I have to talk about this battle cry for a second. It makes no sense. It's something you have to like think about. It's not quite like the simple Rohan like death. It's like, hold on, flame, light, flee. Wait, what?
I guess flee night would be like bad guys get out of here. Like enemies, you better run away. You better leave. We're gonna chase you out of here.
Right.
That's what I'm thinking.
Right, but like you got to keep it simple with soldiers, right? I mean, this is a bit advanced. I'm sure Hurin had something to do with the wording. Like, they're like, how about, like, go away, bad guys? And he's like, hold on, I got something better.
Yeah, it kind of rhymes. Kind of. Not in their language, but in, like, common.
Quote, then at last Hurin sprang into his saddle, and his golden banner was unfurled, and the trumpets sang in the morning, and thus Hurin Thalion rode away to the Nerneath Arnodiad. I cannot say that word, I'm sorry. Which is the Battle of Unnumbered Tears. And it's all be fine.
It's classically known as the most easy battle. No one got hurt. No one was sad. The Unnumbered Tears part of the title is just because they were like laughing so much and having so much fun.
It is tears of joy. Yeah. Yeah, totally. Well, as this is the Unfinished Tales, if Tolkien covered something well enough in the Silmarillion, Christopher doesn't really repeat it again in the Unfinished Tales. So we don't get another version of the Battle of Unnumbered Tears. Instead, Christopher just basically says, read the chapter in the Silmarillion. That pretty much covers it. But
does he say that? Refer to page blah blah blah.
Yeah, actually. Yeah, amazing. He literally does. But just in case you didn't read the Silmarillion first, or in case you don't remember the events of the Battle of Unnumbered Tears, here is a quick synopsis as it relates to our current chapter that I had the robots come up with.
The robots.
Once upon a time, in the land of Beleriand, a massive showdown was about to go down. This wasn't just any skirmish. It was the Battle of Unnumbered Tears. The elves, men, and dwarves all teamed up to take on the Dark Lord Morgoth. And among them were two brave brothers, Hurin and Hur. Hurin and Hur were like the dynamic duo of their time. Picture them as the superhero siblings, ready to kick some orc butt and save the day. They stood tall and proud, rallying their troops and inspiring everyone around them. The battle started off with high hopes and epic heroism. Hurin and Hur fought valiantly, leading their men with unmatched courage. But Morgoth had other plans and unleashed his full might, turning the tide of the battle. Things went from, we got this, to, oh no, this is really bad, real quick. In the midst of the chaos, Hurin and Hur found themselves surrounded. But did they back down? Heck no, they didn't. They made a last stand that would be remembered for ages. Hurin was like a one-man army, swinging his axe and taking down foes left and right. Hur, equally fearless, fought beside him, ensuring that their legacy would be one of valor and sacrifice. In the end, Hur was slain. But Hurin continued to fight fiercely. Morgoth, impressed and maybe a little bit annoyed by Hurin's resilience, captured him instead of killing him. And it is there where we will pick up again next week, as we get a chance to learn of the conversation between Morgoth and Hurin after his capture.
Bum, bum, bum. It's not like we already read this part, but we know what happens, but we're just going to keep it a mystery instead. Boom.
But what's cool is that in the Unfinished Tales, we actually get like a full-on, like, Morgoth said this, then Hurin said that, and then Morgoth said this. In the Silmarillion, it's basically dialogue. Whoa. In the Silmarillion, it's basically like Hurin really annoyed Morgoth to the point that he stuck him in a timeout.
Did he?
That's
what
basically what you get from the Silmarillion.
Is it in The Incredibles where he's like, "You got me monologuing again"?
Yeah.
I can see Morgoth doing that. Like,
yes,
you sly dog.
Yes,
look at you. Amazing.
Yeah. So thank you for joining us on this epic journey through Middle-earth. Stay connected with the Sisters of the Shire podcast by following us on Instagram. We occasionally share posts and awesome art and memes that perfectly capture the vibes of our episodes. Sorry, we have been a little lax. I have been vacationing with my family and being sick, so fun times. I will try and be better. I apologize. A big thank you to our amazing patrons, Dan, our dwarf friend of the Shire, and Chrishane and Tom, our elf friends of the Shire. Your support truly means the world to us. We thank you so much. If you would like to join our fellowship, head over to patreon.com/Sisters of the Shire podcast. For just $3 a month, you'll become an elf friend. At $7 a month, you'll join our dwarf friends. And for $9 a month, you can stand shoulder to shoulder with our men and women friends of the Shire. Your support helps us keep these tales alive. So if you're enjoying our adventures and our laughter and our awesomeness, please take a moment to leave us a rating and review on your preferred podcast platform. Your feedback energizes us and helps us connect with even more fans across Middle-earth.
And share us with your friends. We're family friendly. Your kids can listen with you. Your neighbor, your friend at school, just share, have fun with it. That's one of the best ways to get our name out there, get us, going on reviews and plays and things like that. That would be awesome.
Yeah. Lots of world news. Brace yourselves.
Okay.
There was a hostile takeover between Australia and the UK. Australia took it back, but then the UK was like, we're not standing for that. Boom. So the UK is now number 3 and Australia is number 4. I'm not sure how long it's going to last.
Who's in Germany?
Updates. Poppy. Remember our friend?
Poppy. Thank you for listening, Poppy.
Yeah, I forgot her name. I'm sorry. It's been so long. But she made a clan of German listeners, and I'm here for it.
Nice.
Sweden overtook Ireland. Ireland overtook Israel. And Israel overtook Finland.
Whoa.
It was a mass battle. I can't imagine a weirder fighting army. Singapore has been raising the charts. It was 25th and it is now 19th.
Whoa.
And Switzerland overtook the Philippines.
Whoa.
Another weird battle.
Guys. Look at you out there. So proud of you all.
Yeah, so sorry for the shorter episode. Again, these unfinished tales, they're just little cutscenes that I'm trying to
deleted
sense of. Yes.
They are what do they call it? Like the director's cut. They're the director's cut deleted scenes.
So they kind of have natural stopping points. I'm like, do I start a whole nother one or do I stop here? So I decided to stop here. So, and plus, I don't think my throat can last any longer.
I know I can see Ashley on video and she has to mute herself and she's just like purple faced, watery eyes. Like, I'm fine. I'm okay. The show must go on.
The fun gag coughs that I'm like, am I going to make myself puke? Who knows? It's a mystery.
Until next time.
I appreciate you all listening and bearing with me
today.
You're welcome. Until next week, I've been Ashley.
And I've been Abby, and this has been the Sisters of the Shire podcast, and we're so happy that you joined us today, and we hope that you can join us next time. Bye!
Bye!
Thank you for teaching me a day.
Yay!